when you get Kong and Godzilla running towards the screen like they're fucking The Rock
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and like
doesn't
his
Godzilla?
sidekick, it's like, what are you doing? That is not what this is supposed to be. But the director for Godzilla Minus One was also a VFX guy as well. So
Okay,
there's that kind of through line with Garrett.
I thought it was the same guy as the Shin movies, but apparently it is a brand new director,
Yeah, yeah. I guess they're done with the Shin stuff. I like Shin Ultraman's good. Shin Godzilla's good. I did not like Shin Kamen Rider. That
right? That was the
was boring.
most recent one, right?
Yeah, I
Kamen
was
Rider movie.
disappointed. It
Yeah.
started out really, really good because Kamen Rider starts smashing the,
And
you
we
know, like
are
the puppies
live.
from. I cut that there. It's not
No one
important.
smashes puppies. Hello, welcome to Pestilence Pixels, because I'm ill. So I'm fully energized for this episode. Yeah. The Game Awards, they were average, weren't they?
Below average.
I like your term. I like your term for it, Keith. The Game Adverts.
The Game Adverts. I can't coin that term. That was the term. That was a Steph Sterling one.
Okay.
I would
Yeah.
also disagree with that. I would call them the game announcements because the ads weren't really there as often as there was announcements.
World premiere.
Just advertisements anyway.
Yeah, for a guy that was like, "Hey, we're having no world premieres," they said it a lot on stage instead.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just like, can you stop saying the world premiere? It's stupid. We know it's new.
I prefer them to say it rather than the splash screen every single trailer.
Well, the problem with that was like when they were saying it on stage and they were doing multiple of them over and over again, like one after the other. He goes, another world premiere, and it's like it reminded me of the pre-show with the girl, which hats off to her. The writing was atrocious of the lines she had to say, but she was powering through them, but it was really bad. And it reminded me of that. And I'm like, who did you hire?
The one thing I'd say about the pre-show is here's obviously the bits that we don't give a shit about.
Yeah.
So esports and accessibility.
Oh,
the Game
I
Awards
was
don't care about
so mad about that.
Yeah.
The fact that they would not give accessibility the main stage again after this year is probably the best game for accessibility. I love that they go on stage and they got to take the award, and that game was super cool. That is a main show type thing. That is not a pre-show type thing.
No.
That was so frustrating. It felt like a demotion and insulting.
Can we all agree that the awards should be the main show?
Okay, we'll get to
rapid
that. We'll get
fired-
to that. We'll get to that. We got an intro.
Yeah, find us on places where we show things about stuff. Evan, you did a thing recently. How are things with your thing?
Yeah, I'm having my midlife crisis, so I did a 10K 25 obstacle Spartan race. I have a half marathon in January, and I went rock climbing yesterday, so seeing what this old boy can do before he turned 40.
Are you saying
Before
see what you can break before you turn 40?
Hey, that's totally within. Just the other day, I was running, and my knee all of a sudden was like, you know what? It's gonna hurt really badly on the left side, like a needle. I'm like, what is this feeling?
So
like,
sudden
ouch!
and new.
I've never had this. Yeah, and then it's like there's an old Louis C.K. joke where he goes to the doctor and he hurt his ankle, and he thinks he's gonna get some medicine to cure him, and the doctor's just like, no, your ankle's fucked. He's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's done. It's old. Like that's
Yeah,
it.
he's
So
like, aren't there surgeries for this? He's like, you're not an athlete.
right, exactly. Yeah, and I am not an athlete, but I'm trying really hard to pretend to be one.
So like when my parents were hitting like above 50 and getting near their 60s, my mom had that conversation with their doctor. They're like, "You're just old, Paula. You can't bike this long and not feel sore this bad anymore." And she just goes, "Crap."
So until that day, comes, I'll continue to. I'm guessing I'll probably get gout before I like injure my body. We'll see which comes first, the King's disease or some joint injury.
Well, the
Until
amount
then,
of
though.
sodium in the average Japanese diet, I'm a bit surprised you haven't got it already.
Yeah.
Combined with the drinking.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Matt, you recently made a significant lifestyle choice.
Yeah.
You got your concealed carry permit.
Well, that's yeah, that was the other significant life choice that I made. Yeah, I recently departed from my employer.
So now you're just going to be sitting as of Monday, catching up on your gaming backlog.
Hopefully, yeah, after I
And-
submit resumes.
Oh, I was going to say until your wife comes in, whacks you around the head and said, send some application forms in. Liam, how's things with you?
Yeah, they're going well.
How is
not
your
much.
credit card bill based on your playing of Honkai Star Train thing?
Well, I did spend about £60 the other day, so I guess I can't say I'm exactly free to play anymore. But that's it.
I can stop whenever I want.
It was worth doing because I put like almost 300 hours into Honkai Star Rail, and
Wow.
I'm really enjoying that game. It's great. It's making me hate Genshin though, so because it's so much better.
I had never even heard of this game until the Game Awards, and you're like, "Oh no, yeah, that's Honkai Star Rail," and I was like, "What? What game?"
I
You
know.
should play it,
That's,
Matt. It's
I'm really- I'm
turn-based.
really
You might actually
surprised.
like it.
Matt, you got
I'm
time.
surprised that you've put, yeah.
You got time,
Yeah, you
Matt.
put
You can
500
play
hours
every
into it.
mobile game in the world, and you got all the time.
Oh, but most mobile games are shit. Don't do it.
Oh, most mobile games, when there is an advertisement, you're like, that game sounds cool. Click on it. It's not that game.
That's like the one compliment I can give to X, like in like the past few months, is that they put community notes on game adverts and just tell you this is not what the game looks like. Well, this is great. I wish this was on every website.
Mitch, I heard that you stole Neil Druckmann's speech from the Game Awards. So, how much is that on eBay for?
$1 million. No, I did not steal. You know what stole that speech? The 30-second timer that instantly scared the crap out of him. Because if you look what he says, he goes, "Oh my god, it's going." But no, I'm Gucci. I'm just. It's another day. The holidays are coming up. I'm excited.
How much do you think Gucci had to pay someone to start the phrase of "it's Gucci" or "I'm Gucci"?
0.
Yeah.
So it's just some random.
Just a random person probably said it like for a movie to make their character feel expensive and I don't know. It just works.
Yeah, I think some random bellend thought it up and thought, all right, mate, I'm Gucci. Fuck off.
But yeah.
And their name was actually Chanel.
Well, how are you, Keith? How are you? Well, sorry. I should say I already know I lost this game at the Game Awards this year. Well done, fellas. Also, this was a very freaking hard year, so I knew there was a big chance of me losing. So, congrats. But Keith, how are you doing?
I've been ill for over a week, and yesterday I pulled my back, so I'm in the greatest mood ever. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to announcing that I came last in the Game of the Game Awards. Oh shit, I gave it away.
Whoa.
Right. So do we want to very quickly do beers, because we've got two things to announce, which is the Pixel Pints 2023 Fantasy Challenge, and the scores for the Game of the Game Awards, both of which have consequences, and then we can talk about the Game Awards themselves, the pile of shit that they were. Sorry, Evan, I was editorializing again.
You are, yeah.
I know you don't like me doing that. Because I'm taking significant amounts of paracetamol. What do you guys call it in America? Pseudoephedrine?
Yeah, pseudoephedrine, I believe.
Weirdos. I'm drinking fruit squash.
You know that's illegal in Japan because of one of the ingredients. I don't remember what it is. You cannot bring it to Japan.
Get on
like
a
Alka-Seltzer?
Keith, get on a flight immediately and head to Japan. Let's test the theory.
What, they're going to test out my blood?
Take it from me. All right, who has beer?
I took it four-
I
took it 4 hours ago.
I just have an energy drink. I'm super tired, and it was a late night last night for fun, happy reasons, celebration. So, happy holidays. Holla.
Matt, it is a generic term for painkiller,
Oh, all right, okay.
but it's not aspirin. Aspirin is something specific.
Gotcha.
And it's not ibuprofen. That is also something specific.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's weird.
But we call
In the States,
you call it pseudoephedrine, but for some God knows reason.
Yeah, I was gonna say most of the time, most people say aspirin, even though they don't actually mean taking aspirin. They usually take a Tylenol or an ibuprofen, but they'll say aspirin. It's just like built into the nomenclature.
Yeah, so we don't. So something like, I'm trying to think of a branded Panadol, Nurofen, something like that. That would be. Whereas you guys use the branded names, we use a generic term just for painkiller.
For everything, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Evan, what are you drinking? Because Liam, I'm assuming, has some kind of fruit squash or fizzy beverage.
Well, I had some Pepsi, but I just drank the last of it. So I'm hoping this podcast doesn't go for more than 2 hours. That's all I'm saying.
I'm drinking...
Matt's drinking red eye gravy or something. I don't know.
It's called being good teammates, Liam. If you have to go up and walk away for a second, we cover. That's what we do here. We're good teammates.
You mean I don't have to sit in front of the camera constantly?
No, you don't take it with you. Just that's all I ask. All right.
You might want to look at my kitchen and think, wow, that's a very nice kitchen.
You go to the toilet in the kitchen. That's weird.
I'm drinking Spring Valley Brewery's After Dark. Spring Valley was originally a craft brewery, but it was bought by Kirin, as you can see the logo on the top. But they still tout it as craft beer on the most recent commercials, which is not anymore because Kirin's a macro brewery.
Is that like saying Dave the Diver is an independent game?
I think it is, actually. It really is. And people in Japan don't know what craft. It's just it's almost like a buzzword. They're slapping craft on it. There's like craft coffee in stores now in Japan. It's caught on as a buzzword to slap on your product. So this is Spring Valley Brewery's After Dark Black. I've actually never had this, and I have not opened it yet. But it's a black lager. It seems it's at 6% though. I'm very, very curious. So no taste test. We'll see. But other than that, I'm drinking the regular Ichiban Shibors.
Nice.
I don't know what it is, but I hate when you say that.
It's terrible. I say it on purpose. Yeah, it's a Wisconsinism. Ichiban Shibors.
I'm on the Shibor. It sounds like you're standing on a dock somewhere. I'm on the Shibors. Right, yeah. I'm really
moving on, Keith.
Moving on. Should we do the let's do the results of the Fantasy Gaming Challenge, shall we?
Yes.
Right. So our entrants for this year, one of whom has been discounted because they are no longer part of the group. They know who they are. So the entrants were Mikey, Liam, Michael, our reigning champion, Matt, Dan, Mitch, and Stefan. And in reverse order, so in last place with 276 points, it was Liam.
Wow.
Whoa.
The fantasy challenge.
Really?
Yep.
Nice.
I thought for sure it was gonna be me, dude. I'm always alive.
I thought you were gonna say Matt as well.
You, Matt, you were spared 2 years in a row in regards to two
Yeah.
awards in a row. Wow. Okay, that's enough to give him an award.
But what will happen is Liam will change his picks for this year, next year, to all the games that did really well this year, and then we'll make him the winner next year. If anything, I've learned from the Game Awards and CD Projekt Red. So in 6th place, we have Mitch with 344 points.
Yeah, this was a bad
Wow.
year.
In 5th place was Stefan. In 4th place was Matt.
There we go. Broke the top
in-
5.
In
rising
3rd
tide.
place, with 399 points, was
Stefan.
Mikey.
Ooh. Oh no, Stefan already got it.
In 2nd place, with 434.5 points, was Michael.
Oh, you
So
won.
first place was Dan, Super Sperm Man, with 524.5 points. It wasn't even close.
Wow.
Wow.
What's going on? Dan's barely on the show. He's fucking kicking ass all over the place. Getting hung over, creating super sperm.
He's busy impregnating people.
Out of control, this guy.
We need to say that Dan has not impregnated anyone he wasn't supposed to impregnate. And we cannot confirm or deny the presence of any kind of sperm super or otherwise.
He's happily married with 2 kids.
Yes.
So he obviously has some sperm.
Unless you're a billionaire, then you can pay him.
Yeah.
He's going to hate us. But
Absolutely.
so for winning the Fantasy Gaming League, Dan gets to curse a member of the Pixel Points crew. He has informed Matt as his surrogate. I use that term
I was gonna say
specifically.
that's a bad word to use, but okay.
So Matt, are you going to announce the curse?
Yes. Okay. So originally, Dan said that he wanted to curse Rafa and make it so that he couldn't say anything or post anything about GTA 6. And I was like, dude, you're basically banning him from the server at that point. That's not fair.
No, that's totally fair. He lost. He could have competed.
So,
He didn't compete. I was all for it.
in lieu of that, he has decided that he will curse Mitch that he has to either A, wear an Xbox or Game Pass related item on every podcast for the next year. Or if that's too harsh and you can't do that for work-related reasons, you are unable to wear anything Sony or Naughty Dog related.
Wow.
ever on the
You know
podcast for the
you
next
know
year.
what? I've already started. I'm not wearing anything PlayStation right now. So I will accept both scenarios. The first scenario,
Yeah.
if he purchases me a sweatshirt that says Xbox on it, I will wear it on the show.
Okay.
No, he's getting a personalized T-shirt with "I love Pete." I love Pete Spencer. Pete Spencer.
Phil Spencer.
But
Spencer Pete Hines is now
but
merged.
yes, I will happily wear any Xbox gear if he purchases it for me. I'm more than happy to wear it. So if he wants to do that and ship it to my house, I'm totally fine with that.
I think he's going to. He tried shipping all of us beers when we first started this, but unfortunately, customs,
I mean,
striking those.
I will not mind wearing an Xbox shirt because it'll be even more deceptive for the people in the audience because they think I love Xbox so much when I'm tearing it down to shreds next year.
You're gonna get that Alana Pierce hate. Like everybody gives her crap for even playing Xbox games.
Yeah.
I want to see an Xbox Bethesda hoodie for you, Mitch.
Right.
Or half and half.
Yeah, something. Yeah, that'll be torture for you. I'm sure.
So because I've already been applied the punishment, he had a better punishment he should have done, which is he literally should have had me wear like an I Love Starfield shirt, or like actually like put a game on there, not a brand, because I want to play Hellblade 2, and it's coming out that year, so of course I'll wear an Xbox shirt happily.
But nobody likes Starfield that much. You know, it's
Yeah,
not as
unfortunately.
exciting as it was a year ago. You know, it's like, oh crap, I agree with that T-shirt.
So if the T-shirt was "I love Starfield," it's the best mid-level RPG I've ever played.
I'm just hopeful whoever wins the Game of the Game Awards might transfer that power to some other people. Just saying.
Right, do we want to do the winners before talking?
Yeah,
should we
let's
go
do
through the?
Yeah.
Right. So, do we want to go through the category by category, or shall I announce the scoring and then we'll talk about the actual?
Yeah,
Just
let's
do
that.
Just do the scoring like you do with the fantasy league.
Because I think what's nice is you can tell us kind of where it diverted and someone ended up taking a lead and winning.
Yeah. What, go through category by category, or just do overalls?
Overalls.
Overalls.
Do who won and
Right. So I've already let the cat out of the bag. I came last with a meager 12 points.
Whoa. 12 points?
Yep.
Was it basically just
I'm
your
pretty sure I
locks
did
and a
terribly.
couple points?
I missed one of my locks because I went for Baldur's Gate 3 on 2 of them, which I shouldn't have done because I should have gone with Alan Wake 2 for some godforsaken reason from what Evan has been saying about that game. Everyone still loves it for some strange reason. In joint 5th place with 13 points is Evan and Mikey.
Whoa.
I did terribly. I was watching the show. I was like, miss. So
In 4th place, the fall from grace that is Mitch.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was going to be the case.
With
it had to happen, Mitch.
With 16 points.
I
In tied 3rd place. When I was going through the results, I honestly got to a point where I thought, is Dan going to win both of these? It turns out that he's not. So tied 3rd is Dan and Matt with 20 points each.
Okay.
No, it was tight between. There was 1 point between 1st and 2nd place.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
That was last year too.
This is interesting.
So we're left with Liam and Stefan, and I can say that one of you got 24 points, and the other one got 25 points.
Ooh.
And the winner with 25 points is Liam.
Nice.
Oh, congratulations.
Nice job, Liam.
In a funny story, after I watched the Game Awards the other night, I actually added up because I had the list, so I added it up. And when I clearly wasn't using the right scoring scheme because when I did it, Stefan won, so I just thought nothing more of it and just left it. It's really funny.
Keith, this is why we need to remove the list as soon as we're done. As soon as after we post it, just lock everyone out of it.
Yeah,
I almost did the
keep
same
my
thing.
mouth shut there. It was quite fun following it while I was watching the awards, though. You know, because I mean, like, you can't really remember who picked what, so it's just.
Well, not when they rapid fire through 7 awards, and you're just like, "What the fuck was that one? Who picked that one?"
Exactly.
So yeah, if I'd followed Mitch on a couple of ones, like Cyberpunk, and followed the Dan on, I followed the crowd when I should have followed Dan on a couple of picks. I probably would have come 4th.
My biggest mistake was I didn't read your list far enough, and I thought we weren't having best ongoing game because I actually would have made that my lock instead of best community support. So,
Well, it's not an ongoing game, so I can see why you got those two round.
well, no,
the other way.
I thought you forgot to put it in the categories themselves for us to do, and so I was like, oh, we're not even doing that one this year. Okay, we're doing best community support though, and then so I once I said, oh, I'm locking this for best community support, and then they were like, why not ongoing game? And I was like, wait, that's a category? I would have done that one. Damn it. Oh well. What's up?
This absolute piss take that CD Projekt Red won that award. I wonder how many outlets they actually paid or flew to Poland and took out for dinner.
Well, in that case, they should have won Best Community Support.
I hear Poland's nice in November.
Right, Liam, with your power granted unto thee, what do you want to do with the curse? Because you can pass the curse on. You can cause it to multiply.
Mm.
You can absolve Mitch and give it to someone else.
I mean, I'm not going to absolve anyone. It's just a ridiculous thing. It's like, I believe in capital punishment. Basically what I'm saying.
If only he could like modify a curse, so he could be like make everyone wear the brand they don't usually like the most.
Force Evan to go and buy something Xbox branded.
Yep.
So what exactly are my choices here, Keith?
So you can absolve Mitch and pass the curse on to someone else, or you can spread it around.
Just pass it.
Okay.
Pass the ball. Pass the ball.
Oh,
Teamwork,
no,
right,
can't
Liam?
pass it.
Liam, teamwork.
At the very minimum, I'll spread it.
That doesn't
Let's
sound
see.
hygienic.
Maybe I'll come to a conclusion before the end of this podcast.
All right, think about it. You don't have to.
Yeah, I still think making. Should we allow? No, we won't. It's making up stuff on the fly, because I can torture Evan because he tortured me for a year by saying Yakuza is anything other than a garbage series of video
I'm
games.
actually shocked he's not spreading it to Rafa because he forced him to say Final Fantasy Final, whatever the phrase is.
16 Fantasy Final.
Yeah, that thing.
I mean,
Yeah.
that was funny though.
Well, if you could make up a new one, yeah, we just have Rafa say 6 Theft Auto Grand.
I mean, I suppose I should punish Rafa in some form. Way.
But you can only pass a curse. You can't make a curse. So you just have to make him wear Xbox. I don't know if you'd like to wear Xbox. That's the only question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get
He
it.
wouldn't care.
It's another reason for him to give a shout out to GTA 6 because it's coming to Xbox. So,
Liam, you also get to name our game of the year.
Oh, yes. Now that is a good thing.
yeah, because he's been super mad at my picks because I slatted him one year so
I
badly.
hate God of War Ragnarok. What was the previous year, Mitch?
Ghost of Tsushima over The Last of Us
Oh,
Part 2.
yeah.
That's part 2.
As time goes on, I hate that one even more. I'm sorry.
I think I did it just to spite you because you instantly were like, you better pick this one at the very end when I was about to just pick it. And I was like, fuck it.
Was that before or after you started working at Naughty Dog?
Oh, this was before.
It was before.
This was
right?
before I worked on
that's
Naughty
even
Dog.
more funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I think Mikey still has the medal award that he built for us that he smithed. We never found where to send it to at Sucker Punch, right?
Oh, actually could just send them an email now.
They're like, oh, so like 3 years ago we did this podcast
when
and,
I never worked here.
Yeah.
I would never do such a
Right.
thing.
I'm sure there was other powers. I'll have to go back and revisit
No, I
what
think
it was.
those were the only two.
Oh yeah, and you couldn't be cursed.
Yeah, you can't be cursed, but that doesn't change anything because the curse already happened. So, all right, let's talk about
Right.
these awards.
Yeah. So let's talk about the awards. And here's our first announcement for our new show. Moving on swiftly, here's an award, and here's something new.
I mean, it was insanely ridiculous. I thought last year I thought was fine, and I thought, oh, they could just make a small correction to like improve the show. This year I felt like they took like a massive step back. Like it was like the biggest step back I've ever seen. For me, this was not an award show. It was Winter Game Fest. That literally was what this was. It's never felt like that. It's always felt like, oh, it's an award show. They got some cool announcements to go with it, and it's got ads. Sure. This is the first time I felt like it was mainly announcements with some ads with some awards.
There wasn't. There was like 4 awards that they had on stage. There wasn't even,
On the main
wasn't even
show, it
that
was
many.
4. Yeah, on the main show, it was 4.
Yeah.
They had 2 given out in the pre-show. So 6 out of
But the 2 that were in the pre-show weren't even
accessibility
they were just-
wonder because they wanted to give Nintendo some stage time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's accessibility and family game. They actually gave out all the esports ones were just announced.
It's just
What is it? Someone explain to me why I should give a single shit about watching this.
I mean, going forward, unless you're interested in seeing the world premieres, that's the only reason to watch it. I think it's unfortunate because Keighley could easily have Winter Games Fest and the Game Awards. I think, he could just have 2 shows, one that bankrolls the production of the Game Awards and actually give some time to devs to go up and give thanks to everybody that is, praising them and giving them an award for their stuff. So
I would slightly
Well, you
disagree.
say
I'd say I slightly disagree with you that I don't think you could do the 2 separate shows because I think part of the reveals is an important piece of the show to get eyes on the show. However, I do think the Game Awards had, at this moment in time, at least for how long it's been going on, it has some slightly surpassed, have needing the reveals only to be able to survive as a show. But I think it's still really helpful for them to keep the viewership volume high enough. I just think they relied on it way too much this year. And it's just a stark difference to have Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele come on stage and talk for 20 minutes, and then you're getting off in 30 seconds when you get an award. That's just even though he's like, oh, I talked to my staff and no one got cut off. It's like, no, a lady did get cut off that wanted to say something when she won an award. It's just like
a whole bunch of people got cut off.
Yeah.
And what? Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year and they still gave them the normal time limit with a little bit of lax on it. But it's like, you won Game of the Year. You can say whatever the fuck you want, take all the time you want on that stage. And they even were they were awkwardly trying to say more, and it really sucks because they were talking about some people where they're like, hey, we lost some people due to COVID on this game and really want to thank them. And it's almost like they felt like they couldn't really say it because they were being time constrained so hardcore on this show.
Do you know what I would have rather have seen? I would have rather have seen them spend more time on the awards than have an Alan Wake themed musical section.
Sorry, got to
Don't
disagree
mind
with you
that.
hardcore.
I mean, it was
loved
enjoyable
that
to watch,
musical
but
performance. It was really good.
I actually don't mind that, Keith, only for the premise of that is celebrating a game that's nominated. If it was something about another game, the Final Fantasy one, didn't need it.
Yeah,
That's not for a game that's nominated this year. That's for next year. Who cares? This is meant about celebrating games from this year. And I think more than ever, devs take these seriously now. They do feel this.
Some of that is going to be linked to perception of how you are as a studio, and therefore how you are seen by the community, particularly for the where the viewers were accounted for. What was it, 30% of the votes? You could go online
Something
and
like that. No, I thought it was
Evan,
10 to 20%.
Your flag is falling down. Respect your flag, bro.
I've noticed that. I'll just let it happen.
tried to hide that other podcast he's been on.
Double 2-timing us.
Someone died for that flag. Really? I bought mine at Walmart.
Goddamn right.
Made in America.
Is it, your dad fought in Korea? My flag was made in Korea.
But yeah, it's just I don't know why they did what they did, to be honest. I feel like this is too much of a. I don't know what they were thinking. This is beyond me. It's I don't know. I'm now extremely disappointed and really don't want to watch next year's show if this is what it's going to be like from now on.
Yeah, at least not as intently. And it went on way too long. There's no reason it should
Three
be
and a half hours.
They don't. They don't need these many announcements either. These are nice to have. I mean, if it was a Winter Game Fest, this is a good show. Like, there's a lot of good titles here. But you don't do this here. Save it for another thing, then.
Yeah.
I think Matt, come on, it's just rude. Okay, I came last, and therefore you don't need to show me any respect for my ability to pick a category winners, but at least don't talk over me. One of the things that I found as well is how they chose what they revealed sometimes blended far too seamlessly in. So let's pick this game where this person is wearing something extremely similar to the next game that we're going to show, but there's not going to be any kind of break or interstitial to show you that we're showing two different trailers back to back. So I was watching it and thinking, is this the same game? No, it's not the same game. And that happened a couple of times. And I'm just thinking, who's watching this thinking, yeah, let's cut this here and cut that there. Which is why I think sometimes the Splash World premiere actually helped a little bit, because you could quite clearly differentiate between titles. The other thing that I found was who is it who said they cut the trailers down and to about 25 minutes out of a 3.5 hour show. Someone cut all the other stuff out. They cut all the footage and basically said, oh yeah, there's only about 12 minutes of actual awards total out of a 3-hour show. 12 minutes.
Insane.
It was 8% of the show. That was less than last year. Last year, I think they said was... Oh, no, sorry. I think this year was 8 minutes. I had to go back to the tweet, but I think it's 8 minutes this year. Last year, it was 12 minutes. That's 8% and 12%, basically, of like how much of the show. It was less than last year.
Yeah, that's insane.
You can't call an award show when you spend less than 10% of your time and actually focus on
here's
awards.
The thing, and this could be a whole thing that maybe we're not getting, because like I did think about the other perspective, like why would they do it? Like, what is the answer? Is it that some of these devs aren't showing up to the awards? So like to have a proxy keep accepting award over and over again doesn't look good for your show.
Right.
And so like maybe they're like, oh, we know these winners, we know who's coming. Okay, these winners will go up and accept their award because they're there. However, you know, I saw Shuhei Yoshida go up on stage for the Chia team and was able to give a really good speech. They also could pre-record some of these ahead of time if they can't be there and be like, hey, they weren't able to come. However, here's a message from them from winning this game award. And I think that would be excellent because, again, these people are looking to get recognized. Like, this is the thing. It's like little devs like Sea of Stars, they deserved a moment to get recognized for the amazing game they made. And the fact that it just get read off like a list of games that we don't care about, that's freaking ridiculous.
The other thing too is the one of the awards that they gave out was the influencer award or whatever, and it was the virtual. It was like the virtual host.
Oh, that's how they Twitch
that person
stream.
got a. Yeah, but that's how they got the person. Like they got them to record a video, and it's not even really game related. Like I mean, it is, but it's. I don't know. It was a little
really
frustrating.
Game related. I mean, it's just Japanese culture bullshit.
Well, some people do that when they're really embarrassed of like physically what they look like, and they have some serious anxiety. So like, it's understandable someone would use those.
No, but to your point,
I've seen what the person that does Iron Mouse looks like because she's like the girlfriend of another pretty popular YouTuber.
Oh,
She's
okay.
fantastic looking, nothing to fear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but to your point, Mitch, other people could just record videos.
Totally.
And they could, provide that. So
I was going to give the example of the BBC Sports Personality of the Year Awards here, which are probably coming up in a week or so's time, where they give out loads of awards to people who aren't going to be at the show because they could be on the other side of the world playing tennis or cricket or some other sport. And yeah, they just say thank you very much and hope everyone's having a great night, blah, 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 platitude, cliche. Thank you very much.
Well, because I can tell you
Yeah,
every
yeah.
publisher is there, so the publisher can go up and accept the award for them, and then say, "Here's a video from the team." Like
Right.
it's very simple concept. It's so
I
frustrating.
was personally aggrieved that Liam wasn't there to accept the award for Honkai Star Rail.
Well, okay, we'll get to the
I'll
accessibility
hold the
award.
award hostage and tell them to give me a bunch of primo gems.
So here's my rant on accessibility really quick. For an award show that really spotlighted accessibility last year, and there were some good nominees. This year there were amazing nominees. It was so close that I couldn't even decide what I thought would win because a lot of them are really good. Multiple are fully blind accessible games, which is unheard of in this industry until about 3 or 4 years ago. So the fact that got put in the pre-show, and the other thing is, Keely, you have the influence and the ability to take an advocate of accessibility and put them on stage to be able to have them read off the nominees and show serious representation for the community, and you kind of throw it away. And it kind of was frustrating to see that because it was like they took a step by having, the accessibility award be in the main show, and I felt like that would be a way to take it a step further. It's great they paired it with that game. That game looks super cool. I'm very excited about that one. It reminds me of like a Disney movie, a Pixar movie, but like
Yeah, the harmonic.
Harmonious, the musical. It's like it was super good. I was so excited for it. Only minor nitpick. I wish there was closed captions for actually people who are hard of hearing that would want to know what else is happening in the environment around the player in the trailer. That would be my only smallest of nitpicks. But it's still great they paired those two together. That's a main show thing you would do. That's where you take the game that was winning for an accessibility award and say, we have a game that's coming out that pairs it, that we're pushing accessibility forward and representation. And that's great. That's how you do it. But you don't do that in the pre-show because not everybody watches the pre-show. That's why it's called the pre-show. Like, it just makes... I'm so mad
Not
about
even
that.
they gave out those two awards to Nintendo and Forza Motorsport, and the auditorium wasn't even full yet.
Yes, because they still walk
Yeah,
in. That's why it's called the pre-show. Like, if these are just as important as all the other awards, don't have a pre-show.
Well, then,
Just
they're
call
not. So
it should all
it's
be the main show. It should just be a
they're the
3.5
Harry
hour
Potter
show.
under the stairs.
Yep.
At the start of
I mean, we talked about
name
this
I can't
last.
remember.
We talked about this last year. I think was why were there so many in the pre-show that they just gave out, and there shouldn't be any awards in the pre-show. The pre-show should be loaded with the cheap adverts. That
Well, the other thing that I'd say about it overall is a lot of it felt like if those games come out next year, the categories for independent and indie game are going to be swamped because there wasn't a lot of big publisher backed stuff. It seemed like it was all small indie looking titles that very few of which actually grabbed my attention. I couldn't even tell you I think the only one, because I'm a sucker for sci-fi stuff, and Jeff Keighley said Mass Effect vibes, was Exodus. That's the only game that I can tell you.
That's done by the actual writer of Mass Effect.
Drew Karpyshyn.
Yes, he is writing.
Yep.
He is writing, and I think he's directing. I think he's also directing, and it's former BioWare.
No, just right.
Just writing. It's also former BioWare and former Naughty Dog are working on that project.
It's
Okay, so
old
yeah.
director of Knights of the Old Republic, I think.
Yes,
Who's
correct.
the director of
Thank
the
you.
game.
Thank you very much. I love you already, Exodus. You better not let me down. Literally every other game. I couldn't tell you the name of any other game from the entire show.
Well, Mitch has a list of all the stuff that's announced.
Shall I play the contrarian? Because
Go for it.
I have quite
Go
I
for
have
it.
quite a different opinion from you guys, because in some ways I kind of feel like I'm having the same conversation I had with you last year about the Game Awards. It's not that I didn't think there were problems, because I do, and I pretty much agree with most of the things that you've mentioned so far. It's just that I feel like you guys have a strange memory when it comes to these events, because I think this one was above average. I think the the point that they didn't focus on the awards as much as they needed to is a problem. But I think when you look at it compared to even just 2 years ago, because last year's was my favourite of all of them personally.
I'd agree with you on
But
that.
if you go back even 2 years, like it was just had way more adverts. It was intolerable to watch. The form
Well, that was
wasn't
the
as good.
Gillette man.
Yeah, I was
thing.
gonna bring up the
Wait, hold on.
Gillette,
The
yeah.
Gillette dude was over 2 years ago. That was like 3 or 4 years ago. This show is
It,
pretty
it
good.
doesn't matter. My point still remains the same. Is that it is just laden with more adverts. It felt like more in-your-face cash grabs. The announcements weren't as good. The formatting was worse. I guess you could say they front-loaded the show with too many announcements, and they've done the same thing with the pre-show every year, where they put like a whole bunch of awards in there that nobody, well, at least I guess that they perceive nobody cares about. And I don't think this year's that different by comparison. So
But no,
I
it's
hope
not. I thought they've all been pretty shit.
Well,
yeah, I mean they are. And award shows, this is my opinion. I think award shows are just typically pretty pointless in general. Like I think there is some truth to what you were saying, is that them cutting down on the time that people get to stand up and speak is quite egregious, because I don't care about the awards. The awards are meaningless at the end of the day. Like, I have my opinion. We all have our opinions, and quite frankly, a lot of the time these things devolve into popularity contests. But to be able to hear somebody speak about a game they've made and them receiving some form of accomplishment for that is the thing that I like. And I think while the speech last year from the God of War actor was egregious and went on for too long, I would rather have that happen again than to have all of those people cut off before they can barely get a word out, because I find that offensive. I find that unacceptable. I think
Disrespectful.
we can do a little bit better than that. Yeah, it's disrespectful.
well, okay. So I'm like agreeing for like 90% what you're going with. I think but my point is with this is, I think we know that the crazy adverts, the annoying things that happened in the show years ago had to happen to get to this point where you don't have to have as egregious adverts. You don't have to have as egregious announcements. Now he has the ability to actually take the time, because if you look at last year's show, he just needed to maybe give a chunk of those awards that he was reading off, just give them an opportunity to be on stage instead, and slowly add to where you're letting almost everyone speak, and you don't have to rely on as much adverts, and like start transitioning people to say, this isn't a show about, awarding and recognizing the people that make these games. Everyone might not agree with the winners, but we're recognizing these games that came out that people love. And the fact that he went backwards instead, and he didn't have to, he chose to. That's the problem.
Well,
Yeah,
personally, with me, I think last year was a healthy medium. I think it was just enough awards, just enough time, maybe a little bit more time, tiny bit, but it's just enough. Because the truth is, most of the awards you don't really care about. As long as you get the big ones, I think
this is where, Liam, I kind of see where you're coming from. But
Yeah.
going back to something simple like getting someone to send you a minute-long video of an acceptance doesn't drag the show out at all.
Exactly.
So if people can't be there or don't want to be there, give them the opportunity to send in a minute-long acceptance speech, rather than because the temptation is always there to do a Christopher Judge and say, I'm not leaving the stage, and I want to thank my dog, and I want to thank Essex's top
Number
video
one
game
podcast.
podcast.
Yes.
But I'd also argue the fact that, like, Liam, you're saying, like, in essence, you're like, oh, all the awards last year that like were the big ones got spotlighted. I would disagree. There were multiple categories that should have been, that he then, because of where he is today, could have this year. Like an example, like, people are really passionate in the gaming community about the fighting games this year because they were really good, and that was not one that
I don't give.
Now you don't, that doesn't mean other people don't. That's the thing. And it's like fighting.
You see, this is the thing, though, Mitch.
Fighting
Is
games
someone gives a shit about every award more than another person, and you've just got to do what you think is most popular, what people care about the most, and move on to the announcements because that's the most important aspect of the show.
So why didn't that happen?
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get where you're coming from, and in many aspects I agree with you. It's just the aspect of we didn't have to. It's like it's not like he's forced to do this. He chose to do this. This is now to the point where I actually put it all on Keeley, and not him actually like not being a whole like, you know, he doesn't have like in the past I forgave him because it's like this is what you got to do to get this to happen. Now he has so much influence and the ability to do what he wants with this show and to make it seem seamless because he proved it last year, and to, in my opinion, take a step backwards is all on him.
One thing, playing devil's advocate to Liam's positivity, if game developers cared about this, they'd show up, and the awards for the game developers are called the DICE Awards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the BAFTAs, or yeah. I guess to end it on a little bit more of a positive note too.
No, there is only bipolarism and negativity.
At least this year was not super amateur hour. There was no Joseph Ferris moment. There was no kid storming the stage. There was, you know what I mean? Like that. At least that stuff didn't happen.
Do we need another Muppet segment, for fuck's sake?
No.
I mean, Keely's got a thing for Muppets. I don't have it, I guess.
Borderline furry.
That's the title of this podcast.
Furry adjacent.
Furry adjacent.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah.
As much as I grew up watching the Muppets, I like the Muppets. The Muppets Most Wanted is a good movie. Do I need to see Gonzo and to profess to a chicken obsession on a video game focused award show? No, I don't.
Well, I just you know, there's other ways we can celebrate games too. Like I get there's like the DICE Awards and all that stuff, and they will take the time to actually like make sure everyone can go up and say something there. I also wish this year was actually a celebration of games because I feel like there was none. Like I was
just saying, I feel like Keeley is a bigger bullshitter than people give him credit for. You know, all of the things he says, man, it just rings pretty hollow. You know, once you've been through a few of these presentations, it's just like, this isn't a celebration of games. This is just a way to get people to watch this show because they're like, is the next Mass Effect going to be here or some bullshit? You know, I watch this show and I turn my brain down like a step and just hope that something I am interested in gets announced. And
that's what I did.
And if it wasn't for our game, I wouldn't be paying attention to the awards at all.
Well,
I watched the show at 2 times speed, and I fast forward anything that looked Japanese.
Well, speaking of announcements, let's go around and what's your favorite announcement from the show?
I've done mine already.
I know. I
mean, I agree with Keith, but since he's already mentioned it, I'll say the last oh my god,
Sentinel.
The name of it, the Last Sentinel. Yes, I am pretty excited about that.
I remembered another game.
Purely because I love Ghost in a Shell, and that game looks like, yeah, we're turning it into a video game, and it's open world, and it's made by all these talented people, and yeah, I feel like that could be, and also it's going to get given an overly inflated budget by Tencent, so who knows? That could be a hit, I think.
Evan, do you got a favorite?
Yeah, mine was a toss-up between The Rise of the Golden Idol, which is the sequel to what is the Case of the Golden Idol, which is kind of a Return of the Obra Dinn type of kind of clicky adventure puzzle game. It's just a game that does, it's just a very interesting concept. It looks interesting. You pulled up a trailer for it. You just don't really see anything like it, but Keith will be happy about this one. The best game that they showed was Pony Island. the creator of Inscriptions, next game, Pony Island 2, Panda Circus, is by far the best thing that I've seen here. It's not a third-person action game. It's not open world. It's not all this shit that we've seen. You watch that trailer and it's like, this game is crazy. It's doing all these interesting things. It's playing with the medium itself. It's jumping between genres. It's got FMV in it, and it's all these things. It's like, okay, I want to see where this is going. And because Inscription is such an amazing game, such a beautiful,
Boring shit.
amazing game. I'm sorry, the person who's a massive deck builder couldn't get past the first fucking section. But yeah, it looks great. I'm excited. I haven't played Pony Island 1, but seeing this is like,
you'd wish you could see my massive deck build.
Can I just say how funny it is that both of Evan's favourite games are both in the pre-show?
Yeah.
yeah. What does that say about me? I'm a pre-show kind of guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the type of coffee shops I like to go to. The pre-show Starbucks.
Matt, what
Look at
was
these
yours?
glasses I have on.
Well, I thought I was going to steal Evan's with
Evan is main show adjacent.
right. Yeah, no, I thought I was going to steal Evan's with Visions of Mana, because we both in the chat when it was happening were like, "Oh shit, what is this?"
I'm cautiously optimistic on this one.
It looks really good compared
It
to the other stuff they've released.
I admit I thought it was Dragon Quest DLC or something when it first popped up because the
wasn't-
art style.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure what it was. It was, and then it was Square. I was like, "Oh shit, what is this?" So yeah, Visions
I
of
had to
Mana.
calm myself down because I was wondering if it had anything to do with Chrono Trigger.
Oh,
Similar art style, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I was getting excited,
No,
but
dude,
not today.
the second you see the giant praying mantis boss, that's the first boss in Secret of Mana. You know
Yeah.
it's a Mana game. Come
well,
on, guys.
for me,
Yeah,
honestly, like in retrospect, I should have noticed it when I saw the greenery because the art style is exactly like the covers of all the games. It's like the same type of
True,
art style,
true.
and I was like, oh, that looks exactly like the cover.
And
This
the
looks like a
rabbits.
trailer I fast forwarded.
Huh?
I do get the I will say so, McWomble, with all the aside from Visions of Mana, all of the this is some anime bullshit game, I'm right with you. I hate all of that stuff as well. The second you see it, it's like, is the same person designing every one of these games because they all look the fucking same. I am 100% with you in that regard. They all I turned my brain off the second I saw anime waifu boob lady with giant sword pop up on screen, except for Visions of Mana, but that might be nostalgia talking.
Oh man.
Is that the checklist in the studios for all of these? Or is it right? So,
And
waifu anime boob lady,
Um,
tick. Giant sword, tick.
Keith, like one of the developers for Genshin Impact literally said that was their actual intention. Like they just
That's
were going to
awesome.
put in all of this anime bullshit into this game,
yeah,
and it's going to
That's
appeal
awesome.
to this audience of people. It's great.
So I'm gonna pick a wild one. Wild being an actual term in this case. I'm going with the Jurassic Park game, guys.
This is an odd one.
I think it's fascinating that it like takes place immediately after the first movie, and then the developer said that they're trying to go for a Alien. I think it's Alien Isolation. No. Yeah, which is like a survival stealth game, and I think that's really a good choice for a Jurassic Park game. So I was fascinated. I was very interested. Also, the visuals on this are stunning, and I thought it was real for a little bit.
Yeah,
does
they
look really
didn't
good,
show
yeah.
much of the actual game.
True.
They didn't show
And it
anything.
looked, and it looked,
They
and
showed
it
the
looked
concept.
good. There was a few snippets of gameplay in there.
Was there? It looked like a
Yeah,
CG
just-
trailer.
Yeah, it was all CG.
It
trailer.
was mostly CG, but then they put in a couple of things from the first person perspective that were sort of cinematic, like when it becomes sort of on rails, like an Uncharted game or something, perhaps.
Right.
Yeah, but my main concern with that game is even though it looks interesting, is I hope it isn't too handholdy and actually lets you sort of figure out your environments and things like that, because it did look a little bit basic
I mean,
from what we saw.
that would be that's what I'm hoping for, is like, because it looks like by the end
Yeah.
of the trailer she's let in the park. So I wonder if like you're in the park and your goal is to get out of the park, and like each territory is like protected, or not protected, but like housed by different types of dinosaurs, and like maybe there's options or opportunities. Like I just think of Horizon in my brain because of some of these moments where I loved seeing
sequences.
well, not the stealth sequences. For me, it was more of creating moments where other robots would fight each other. Oh yeah, you're right. It is at the end here that there is some gameplay.
Yeah.
But I think it would be really interesting to see, you know, and it would be really interesting to see if you could like put dinosaurs against each other to be able to get through certain sections too.
It would be so cool if you could use a T-Rex to your benefit. That would
Yeah,
be
fine.
very cool.
I'm guessing there's well, to do stuff like that, because they did it in the film, you're going to have to do certain things to lure dinosaurs to try and help you. But actually, for this entire, not just me being the resident curmudgeon.
Curmudgeon. That's an interesting word choice.
Yeah.
This is kind of I want to see what it is I'm doing, which is I think why maybe I missed the gameplay elements of that, but I know they showed some footage in Exodus. But one thing I wanted to get more excited about than I actually was the announcement of the Marvel's Blade game, but all it was a CG trailer. It didn't show you anything. It was nothing. It's kind of okay. Thanks very much for announcing a thing.
Well, here's the weird. This one's weird. I'm slightly interested in it, especially because I'm not the biggest Arcane fan. We all know this. Like I like their level design. I just have some issues with Dishonored, but it is interesting them tackling third person. I think
what I'd like about this is if this game is good, Evan and I can be friends again. Because the Dishonored games I found them excruciatingly boring after a while. Evan loved them so much that he's got the tattoo, and allegedly he's would have named his firstborn child after them.
My child is Dishonored Piotrowski.
Yeah.
My kid is gonna get bullied to shit.
No, it's going to Dishonored Arcane Piotrowski,
Oh,
and
God.
the other one was going to be Dishonored Leon Piotrowski. So if you can take the elements that I liked about the Dishonored games and put them in a superhero setting, where Marvel can lean into the darker elements of the Blade comic book character, I'd like to see that. Thank you very much. What did you show me? A snippet, concept trailer, and an interview.
An interview that said they're very early on the development stage of this
Yeah.
project, so you're
So,
not going
yeah.
to see it for a long time. It's like
2026, maybe.
Yeah.
minimum,
At the earliest,
bare
yeah.
minimum. Like it's.
I think it's a good choice of superhero too, because it's not like a Superman where it's like, well, he's not gonna die, you can't really kill him, or
Well, Blade can't die either.
well, but I
He
mean,
can.
he can still be hurt. It's more believable than it is with like a superhero that's.
So he's still a vampire. If you cut his head off, he's going to die.
That's fair. I am interested in this one. The setting, they said it's like in Paris in a lockdown zone, which it's interesting, but I think that's just an excuse for them to keep like one space because he's so international. But I am
I was going to say that's an excuse to limit how many NPCs they have to put in.
that too.
Yeah.
That too.
Yeah.
But also, well, Blade's an international hero, so like that also just limits to like keeping him in one location instead of saying, "Oh, you're gonna go to Paris and then you're gonna go here." It's like no, it's only gonna be in Paris because it's a lockdown zone. Blah blah blah. But anyway,
Because of a vampire infestation or something.
yeah, my only hope, and everyone kept saying this when I was talking to people, they're like, "Oh my god, I hope they put the blink mechanic in this game." I was like, no. Because it does not feel like Blade. Just because you have a mechanic, don't feel like you have to use it.
That was going to be the other name of Evan's kids.
Blink.
Blink mechanic.
Yeah.
Yes, Blink Mechanic Pietruski.
Yeah. Martini at the bar. Oh, hi. What's your name? Oh, mechanic. Blink mechanic. Okay, I'm going home. I chalk like, of course I love Arcane. Redfall was a huge miss, but to me them doing a Marvel game is the equivalent of Sam Raimi doing the Doctor Strange game, or the Doctor Strange movie rather, wherein all I want Sam Raimi to do is his own ideas and not take a paycheck from Disney. And now Arcane is doing a Marvel game. It's like, I would prefer you to do your own stuff and not.
Well, would you
do
also
fucking
like
Marvel.
them to still have all their jobs? That would be the other
Right.
thing, because their games do not
That's
sell.
strategy.
So
They do not sell.
Yeah, and I think
So
Marvel.
let's-
Maybe it's like one for them, then one for me. So like, hopefully this game sells, and I hope it's gangbusters, so that the next project maybe they can inject some money into that and do their own thing.
Well,
So we'll see.
they don't
You
need.
know, you say that. I was just saying, Keith, you say that, but it's kind of a shame to me because one of the things I thought that would be a good thing about Microsoft buying Bethesda is it means their more niche studios can make what they're good at, and Microsoft doesn't have to worry so much about how
Bottom
much
line.
the game sells because it's just a boon to their Game Pass service.
Oh no, I was about to say the same thing, Liam, which is, you know,
Oh, wow.
you think Evan that and Keith of like, hey, Microsoft owns these people, so technically it shouldn't matter about it doing it, to be honest, because Microsoft can back them as long as the game is good. But yes, I agree with you though. It's Marvel, it's a property. It's gonna stand out more that way. Funny part is people are now making predictions. Are they gonna see the movie first or the game first? Which have nothing to do with each other, just because the movie has gone through production hell through 3 different writers, I want to say, and literally the actor threatening to not do the film anymore because the story was so bad. Marvel needs to fix their shit. But it's interesting to see Marvel been really expanding their games more and more ever since Spider-Man. And not only that, but like with the success of Spider-Man, single player, because there's a Black Panther game. There's also,
right.
there's this now Marvel game. I'm curious on how well these other ones do that are not Spider-Man, because to be honest, Spider-Man is their number one seller, number one, not just movies, but also video games. That can Marvel expand beyond just Spider-Man and be successful in games as like a single hero project? I'm very curious about that.
Well, they can, as long as they pick the right studios, like they did with Insomniac, or they partnered with Insomniac.
I mean, you also
so-
help yourself because it's a Spider-Man game. It's good. It's a really good Spider-Man game, but it's also Spider-Man, right? Like Blade is not as well known.
It's not the same. Yeah, it's not the same.
It's
type of
not
hero,
the same
for sure.
hero. Black Panther is now well known because of the movies, so like that helps him. But like I'm interested on Blade. Like it's kind of interesting they chose Blade because Blade still is a niche Marvel character.
I heard he had some tax problems back in the day, so maybe Blade needs some money.
I hope they bring back the was it Wesley Snipes? That would be cool.
Snipes,
Yeah, that'd be cool if they brought him because I like his voice.
Oh wow!
He would do.
Apparently, Wesley Snipes is like notoriously hard to work with. So
Yeah, he's terrible.
probably not.
And
well,
Blade,
I totally
on Blade
forgot.
3, he refused to open his eyes in one of the scenes.
That's right.
So they had to CG his eyes on.
Oh yeah, I forgot though. Also, they already have his voice inside the trailer, so I guess they already have a voice actor for him. So
Yeah, I thought the voice was cool. I think the setting could be really cool. Blade is a fascinating character, and I just hope that Arcane make a game that I want to play from start to finish.
yeah, my only
Should we move on to other stuff just because Evan's fallen asleep on us?
well before right before I do that, I was going to do one more thing, and then
camera's frozen.
Oh, okay.
his camera's frozen. So I was just my last thing I was going to
It's like
say
he's
is
just nodded off.
my last thing I was going to say, my only concern from this Blade trailer so far was I felt like it wasn't recognizable until I saw his costume. And I feel as if that is a little bit of a knock on like
So
Or it's just meant to be
Yeah,
an
I
ultimate
mean-
surprise. It just didn't feel like Blade to me at all until he put the costume on.
So yeah, my biggest criticism for all
Yeah.
these types of games is they don't look like the comic. Like why is everybody making these games? They don't make them look like comic books. But the one thing I will say is I think it's stylized enough and it has enough of an animation look and feel to it that uh, I don't think it matters as much.
My question, though, that comes into play for this is with that look that they're going for, making it look a little more comic booky based off like how their art style is. The ultimate question for me comes into play is then if they try to do a mature story, does it not come off as mature because it doesn't feel as real? You know, like the visual art of it
No.
looking real doesn't make it feel. It almost like, is it going to be just a fun story instead of a
Yeah, I
serious
I want a
story?
fun story. I want a dark, dangerous.
Yeah, that's what I would want, and I'm
Yeah.
curious if the art
I mean,
style
Blade's-
isn't going to
Blade's
cater to
always
that.
been- yeah, Blade's gonna be rated R for sure. I mean, if they don't do that, that's a miss.
Rated M, you mean? And the trailer was.
Well, yeah.
I'm seriously thinking about dipping in a minute. So when one thing that I wanted to get to was my "Are you fucking kidding me?" moment.
All right.
Yes, I'm talking about you, Sega. 2026 for a potential Streets of Rage game. 2026.
It's also 3D.
Oh no! They said throughout
Well-
the next 3 years, so
Several
like it
years.
could come sooner.
Several years.
Yeah.
They said several years. Not 3. Several.
Oh, but anyways, it could come sooner. It could
Yeah.
come later. Who knows? Some of them look pretty far.
But they may be
I was
proof of
excited about that.
concepts. They may be proof of concepts, especially because last year when actually it might have been no, it was last year when they accidentally leaked some footage of Jet Set Radio along with Persona 3 Reload.
Mhm.
The footage was rather similar, and on that, because it was for internal use only, it said it was a proof of concept. So, because the footage is very similar, like, is this not a proof of concept as well? I'm a little bit questioning as to whether these games are actually games yet. That's just my 2 cents.
Well, I mean, for me, when I mean pretty far, like getting past the proof of concept stage, especially for like some of these that are open world ish, it looks like that is a lot of work that has been done, and now it's just like getting the production
Yeah,
going.
but it's still a long
for
way
me,
away.
So for me, that's more of like 2 years away tops. Just saying.
Just stay silent.
Golden Axe and Streets of Rage are 2 of my favourite beat 'em up games of all time, and this
dude, I
just looks
love Golden Axe.
generic bullshit.
It looked bad. It looked
Yeah.
so.
I
Yeah,
wanna
Golden Axe did
keep-
not look good. I've
Dude,
seen
I
Golden Axe
love-
before.
Dude, Golden Axe and Golden Axe 2, yeah, are some of my favorite fucking games. Death Adder is the
Yeah.
coolest name for the last boss ever. And then they show the fucking game and it looks so generic. And
It was
it's like
quick
you-
though. I mean, the
It
two games
looked
that
bad.
the two games that they showcase the most that have the most screen time in that 30 seconds or whatever is Crazy Taxi and Jet Set Radio. And those are the
those
two that
games are-
look the best out of all of those.
Because those are 3D games, you can't make a 3D Golden Axe game. That's not how it fucking works. Did they learn nothing from Streets of Rage 4? Big Womble.
You know what's
I mean,
funny about that,
yeah.
Evan, is they could have made a 2D Golden Axe game because they made a 2D Shinobi game, which looked awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, exactly. And it was stylized, like they changed the look of the game a bit to differentiate it from everything else.
Looks sick.
And then they showed this generic looking fucking 3D bullshit with
Is it Matt mentioned a game which I hadn't thought of in years on one of the other shows. The Streets of Rage game reminded me of that piece of shit Bouncer game.
Oh,
from-
the bouncer.
Awful. It gave me that kind of vibes. I mean, chills to my
watch.
core kind of vibes.
I played
and
that game
it just-
more uncomfortable and thin.
It's just I just got no joy from watching that trailer at all. In fact, I think all of the lights dimmed. Some children started crying in the distance.
oh man.
Okay, you want to know
Seriously.
mine? You want to know mine that created that for
Oh, yeah.
me? Hellblade 2.
Ooh.
They
Because
finally showed gameplay.
okay,
GTFO.
let's get about that. Gameplay of a walking across multiple landscapes and then a small inch of combat of the same combat I saw in the first game. What's new about this
Yeah.
game? Nothing. I don't even
The
know
story. I mean,
what is the story?
I don't know,
they,
but it's,
they never
you
gave
know.
us like even an inch of what is the synopsis of this story. Like I am they need to stop showing this game. It's enough. We're done. I've seen 5 trailers. I know nothing. Until you can actually tell me what either the story is, because that's what I'm interested in. You maybe show me a little more of chunk of like, what is the gameplay we're doing here? Besides this like little combat section, which I assumed was going to be the same combat as before, just a little bit more. But like, what is it? Like, are you solving puzzles again still? Like, what is who's the guy?
Probably.
Who's the whole guy? Is it if I remember right, I think they said off dev was like it's a prequel. Is that her lover that she loses in the first game that like she goes on this giant adventure for? I don't know because the game doesn't tell me a fucking thing. Yeah, no, y'all need to go away.
Yeah, just
It's
give us a
getting
release date.
Yeah.
And just give us a release date and release the damn game.
I
It's at the
mean,
point
they
of
said
the,
that at least it's coming out this year or next year. Sorry, next year.
Yeah.
Nah,
Yeah,
So
like
I
that's-
mean, if this
Delayed.
is starting their campaign and into launching next year at some point, then I think it's fine.
I'm kind of with Mitch on this one. The more I see of this, the more I'm losing interest.
I don't know. This is the first time that I was like, oh, okay, finally something.
I would say though, is that this trailer was way better than what they showed at E3. I could have done
Yeah.
without that personally.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
actually,
Totally.
if we're talking trailer fatigue. Yeah, if they just left E3 and not said anything
Yeah.
and not done what was the other thing they did? They had the actor up on stage and she was doing. They showed all the mocap stuff. Don't care. Save that for a developer doc that you can buy with the deluxe edition of the game.
Well, I think
Okay, well done. You've shown me that your software can lip sync.
well, here's the thing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, like here are the trailers that have been so far. The reveal trailer, which is fine, CG trailer, in-engine stuff, cool. But then they showed like one cinematic with like some combat, but it really doesn't actually look like what the real combat is because we just saw what the real combat looks like. And wow, how is it different than what actually they showed on stage 2 years ago? And then they showed a context of a cinematic of her acting, but we have no idea what it all means because this is kind of point of the game, but they should at least help players. Like, this is what I thought Microsoft would help them with because I love the first game, but it is a niche game. And because also it's really hard to jump into that game because you don't know what the hell it is until you play it. Like they never advertised it very well. They have freaking millions of dollars to know how to advertise a game, and they can't help explain this to casual players why this game is worth playing. That is what's so frustrating.
Do you think they want to keep it like that though? Keep it kind of this niche darling type game that Evan might buy an Xbox again for?
I see that. I think you can still do it and yet advertise it to the masses and help people understand what you're going to play. Like and God of War does a great job of this with their trailers. It's like they give you a little snippet of like, okay, this is what the setup is. This is slightly interesting, but they don't show you anything because when you actually play the thing, you're in for the wildest ride of your life, and they hint at it, but not enough to give anything away that makes it feel like it's, spoiling or anything like that. And I get, but why do it then? For like, if they want Game Pass subscriptions, the whole point of them buying all these studios is to get Game Pass subscriptions, leaving something up to so confusing that the player doesn't know if they want to play it. Why even? It's not for them. It's like, okay, then I don't need to buy Game Pass because like, what kind of freak game is this or blah blah blah. Which I don't think it is, but I don't know. Evan, for you, like, how for a niche game like that, like, is this the wrong strategy in your opinion? You're kind of the
Chris
perfect case for
Senua's-
this.
I think that the previews suffer from like Deathloop syndrome, where they just kept showing the game over and over and over, and it's like I get it. I got it three previews ago, and I still don't know what the fuck this game is.
Yeah.
So they need to be better about showing that stuff. But also, it's like in terms of Deathloop, that was a new game for Arcane. In this case, like Hellblade is a known quantity of sorts, to where like the gameplay they showed during the Game Awards is very similar to the gameplay of the first game. So just show the fucking game. I don't really get why they're beating around the bush, really. And it is a game that I want to play because I really like the first one, but I don't know.
Feels like
It's,
they're hiding it for some reason, and they shouldn't feel like they need to hide the game.
I don't feel like it's being hidden. I feel like they're kind of getting overly obsessed with their own stylized version of what
That could be fair, yeah.
what they should be doing with it. So I don't know if that's it, and it goes back to something that we've talked about a long time ago, or for a long time, which is Microsoft too hands off with all of this?
Well, you can do that, but then it's up to Microsoft and their marketing team to help them in regards to be like, hey, this is a great trailer and all, but we need X, Y, and Z for this trailer to help sell it, right? Like that is the marriage that you need with a marketing team. And that's what a marketing team does for game studios. Like they help those studios make sure that their game's appealing or what they're showing is worth it to the audience besides what they would want to share. They would be like, hey, we need a 10 snippet thing of gameplay to show off to the audience. Show us what you want to show us, and then we'll go over it and we'll work with you to make it the best it can be. Like this is what the marketing teams are meant for, and it sounds like they're just so hands off that it's just that they're like, nope, we love this style, we're just going to keep it.
So before Liam says anything, I want to end this negativity really. Liam, what was your worst moment of the show? What sucked all the joy out of it, like a Dementor visiting you in an underpass? I don't know why I keep going with the Harry Potter references today.
I don't really feel terribly negative towards anything in particular.
See, that's why I went to you. I knew you'd be more positive.
Actually, I do have one. I do.
See, I knew you'd be more positive.
Kojima showing up without Death Stranding 2, which is the only thing I give a shit about. It's just saying.
You don't
Thanks, Kojima.
You don't think OD is going to be anything other than a self-indulgent wild ride by Kojima?
I think OD could be cool, but he didn't show any of it. I don't care. Oh, look, famous person's in it. I don't care. Show me some of it. What is it?
Who are the
Well, no,
famous
that's
people
the-
in it? I don't know any of these people.
That's true.
Yeah,
recognised two of three.
Hunter Schafer and somebody else.
I
Who's the
didn't.
other person?
I didn't recognize any of the
I forgot there
actors'
was 4
names.
people in it.
Yeah,
I recognised 2 of the 4 people.
Who's also got Jordan Peele doing something. Don't know what. But
Coming
something.
up on stage and giving Kojima a hug. That's what he's there for. That's what he got paid to do.
It's like his agents. Like, I really want to meet Jordan Peele.
Well, that's all he does.
Hey,
is
hey, Keely, my goal is
wanna
like to-
pretend to be a director.
Hey, Keith, my goal is to meet Jordan Peele. Can you make that happen? Oh, okay. We're gonna announce you're gonna do a game together. He'll come on stage, but it's really not happening.
Evan, other than seeing the terrible soul-sucking footage of Golden Axe, Sega's version of Golden Axe, what sucked balls mostly for you at the Game Awards?
I'd say all the anime bullshit is really fucking annoying, and I hope it stops. This is coming from someone that was I'm like a proto weeb.
A proto weeb.
Weeb adjacent.
So you
Yeah.
stopped watching anime at 92, and then after that, just
Actually, you know, it's funny, Burkhoff. That's basically what I mean. And I think everything after like 1992, probably maybe 98, I might stretch it. It's absolute shit. And
what year
it
did
has to
Cowboy
it
Bebop
has
come
to
out?
stop. Okay, we'll cut it off at Cowboy Bebop. I'll give
Yeah.
you that because that
You know,
extends past.
this hipster, this hipster saying he only likes things from before the 2000s. He's a liar, and you shouldn't include him in your group because he told me this morning he thought Attack on Titan was great. So
Oh shit!
careful. Yeah,
You know what's
yeah.
what's funny? While you guys are talking about Xbox, I actually have a wiki open, and I'm reading about what people are thinking about the end of Attack on Titan because I just watched the ending of it. Yeah, I'm a fraud. I'm an anime fraud, but yeah, it's like people in New York don't go to see the fucking Statue of Liberty. I live in Japan, but I like too much anime. Most of it is bad, and I don't watch the shit. I don't engage in most of the fucking weeb culture. It has to go away. We have to burn it. I swear to God, all of these anime games, it's getting close to furry territory where we need to close shop and fucking shoot them all with AR-15s.
Evan,
I shouldn't
you
have
should
said
be
that.
careful.
That's not funny. That's actually kind of mean considering what's happening in the States. But
All right.
You should be careful as well because what you wish for is scary because you could have furries in anime and
Oh my
then
god.
you just where do you go from there?
Right.
You know.
So
Furry?
I'm gonna help you out, Keith. All right, speed round. I'm gonna name a title. You're giving me a yeah, nah, or a I don't know. And then if you want to give it a small sentence, you can give a small sentence. We got a release date for Black Myth Wukong. I just want to disclose that there has been allegations of some hardcore sexism in that studio, and kind of hurts my feelings because the game looks really good, but to hear that people get really to hear that and then to see how good the game is, it's kind of disappointing. It's Hogwarts Legacy issue for me.
Soulsborne clone for me, so nah.
I hate Souls games, but I love Journey to the West. I'm so excited for this game. And I'm probably not even going to get past the first 10% of it, but whatever.
It is a pretty game, like in regards to like art visual.
Yeah.
There's like clearly been a visuals downgrade from the last time they showed this game, but to me, that I actually approve of this because it makes me feel, oh, this is a real thing, and it still looks good. Nice.
Yeah,
totally.
Same.
How many times? This was the one where. How many times did they say destined, the destined, or the destined?
Something like that.
How many times do you say that in the same fucking trailer? I know there would have been a translation from Chinese for this, but someone should have looked at it and said, "Actually, no, we need to adjust the text on this one because this is going to sound weird."
Evan, what's your yeah, nah, nah?
what are we talking about? Wukong?
Yeah.
No,
Black
it
Myth.
just it's all these types of like 3D kind of fighting games are third person like action fighting games are blending together to me. So
I guess in this
But
case,
this one had a guy with some glowing floating testicles for his head.
well,
oh,
yeah, I
I
think
like
I
that.
think the one thing that is interesting in this one is how fast the combat is. Kind of looks interesting in that aspect, but
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that there's so many games out there that are starting to look similar to this that are out of like Korea and in China. I don't know. Maybe it's good, but it needs to differentiate itself
that's fair. All right,
in some way.
next title, free DLC, and that is God of War Valhalla.
Thank God it's not another freaking remake.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like
You thought it was going to be the 2016 God of War remake.
oh my god,
That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought they were going to do.
oh my
I
god,
thought it was going to be God of War VR for a second.
because of the that's
That'd
right.
be cool, actually.
Just a hint, there is a Cyclops from one of the original God of War games in there. So I wonder if he's gonna explore his past a little bit. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, but Mitch, like, this isn't really like an expansion to the story, is it? It's just like a roguelike mode within the actual game.
Sorry.
Doesn't look interesting.
Sorry,
Like, of all the things they could have done, like they could have done an Atreus spin-off or something, and they do this, and
I can't say anything.
It's like, oh, go back to this game you finished over a year ago and play some more of it. No, I
mean,
don't care anymore.
it's a free download for everybody that has
Yeah.
it. Like,
But I
whatever.
have to download the game onto my console and actually go, oh, yay, this game I didn't even like that much. I
Honestly,
have to play more of.
every time No Man's Sky released an update, I downloaded it again and tried it out. So like anybody who likes the game, they own it. It's just all gravy.
Liam, I would
it's free, so who cares?
Liam, I would not make that assumption that you made. It's not what you think it is. That's all I can say.
Okay. Well, I
just hope you've got
showing that in the trailer.
Yeah, I just hope you've got space on your tiny, tiny hard drive for it.
All right, Lost. Was it Lost in Records? I know. Evan's a big Dote Nod guy.
Oh, this is the Life is Strange
Team
spinoff.
I don't know. It doesn't. We don't know if it's a spinoff. It's just from the same team.
Okay.
I like the first Life is Strange, but the people that make Life is Strange, specifically the first and second games, like, they're terrible writers. Like, they have no clue what they're doing. Like, they're terribly written games, conceptually incredibly interesting, but just terrible writing. Like, so it's like I look at this game and I go, oh, that's kind of cool, and oh, look, that thing they did at the end. If I get True Detective vibes from any game, like suddenly that gives me more interest. It's like it's going to flash forward to them as adults. That's cool, but at the end of the day, it's written by those people, so I find it hard to care that much.
Oh, come on, Liam. You don't want to go fuck your selfie line in there?
I love that game.
That didn't do it for you. I love the game as well.
That game's great.
Yeah. After the Storm is also Before the Storm is also good.
But that's a
With
different
Chloe?
team of different writers that I think are a bit better.
I don't know. I'm kind of over their kind of games for a bit. I would like them to try to tackle something pretty extremely different. I love, not saying I don't like the representation they provide in their games, but I really would like them to see trying to tackle something new.
Well, I mean, Vampire didn't do that well, so they got to go back to the well.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. Next one. Oh, I forgot what I clicked on. This one is, I think, the Rise of Ronin. Yes. Oh no, sorry. This is this one is No Rest for the Wicked, the Ori team.
Looks like it might be interesting. Different.
I think the art style is wholly unique, and I like the I like the look of the characters. Very exaggerated features on at least in the cutscenes. It looks like. I hope it's more like Metroidvania than like a Diablo, because it's more of like isometric in nature. So I don't know. I think it looks cool, but I'd have to wait and see what the actual gameplay is.
Yeah.
And like skill trees and stuff.
I had the vibe of this with a lot of what was in here, which is okay. It kind of looks cool, but what is it?
Yeah.
That's true.
Fair.
You don't know.
All right, next one, Rise of Ronin, got a release date for early next year.
I was happy that it got a release date in March because I expected it to be a bit further away. But yeah, it looks great. Another game set in Japan is awesome.
I'm
kind of
looks
indifferent to it. Yeah, like, this is like a wait for reviews game for me. So if it comes out and it gets great reviews, then I'm interested. But otherwise, we'll see.
Personally, I thought there weren't enough big boob ladies with giant swords that they couldn't possibly carry.
That's every
trash.
game, though, Keith. Come on.
Absolute trash, dude. I want to like this game. I think it looks cool with the open world aspect of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, the hook shot with the paraglide was kind of cool. I kind of like it's very Sekiro,
cool.
but more traversal than that. I kind of like that.
Ugh, this is kind of giving me Naraka Blade Point vibes, and I hate that game.
Yeah, that game's all right.
All right, 2 more. Well, one, shout out Skull and Bones actually has a release date.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one interested, probably in the entire gaming community.
The next one, the second to last one, Tales of Kazoo, something like that.
This was probably my
Zara.
favorite moment of the entire show. This guy coming up on stage and talking about how much he loves games and how much he's enjoyed being part of the games that he's been in, and talking about his dad supporting him in his endeavour to become an actor. So this looks pretty cool. I'm a bit of a sucker for side-scrolly action games, so
Yeah,
let's see what happens. It looks hard as nails, actually, as well.
There's been a renaissance of these lately, especially because like Prince of Persia has one coming out next month.
Mm-hmm.
It does look really good.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a cool art style. The colors. It's a Metroidvania. Like, I'm interested.
Cool.
And I just like I like the fact that you got a likable person up on stage to introduce the thing that they wanted to talk about.
Oh yeah, he sold the
It's
moment.
almost as if it's almost as if they should do that more often.
And final one, Monster Hunter Wilds.
Is it? See, now, if you're going to tell me that there's anthropomorphic cats cooking in this game, I'm going to say that you are a unhygienic weirdo.
It's borderline. That's furry adjacent, man.
It is very. There's Matt. Is it Evans all over this?
I'm beginning to question your life decisions, Evan. Who are you when you're not around us?
Well, he does
Are
have
you
a dog.
saying-
He is a furry.
I mentioned furries so much that it's suspect now that I'm
Yes, it
actually
is.
like, it's like that guy that was he was constantly he was like a lawyer. He was like trying to get GTA like shut down, and then he was actually like racketeering or some shit.
I can't remember
forgot
the guy's
yeah.
name.
It was something
Yeah.
like that though, right? Yeah. I guarantee you I'm not engaging in any furry activity. If anything, you would see me on the news for like murder, like a string of murders of people in furry outfits, and I eventually got caught.
Horrible.
Or not. Is it? We need to say that Evan is a weirdo.
They're gonna make a Netflix documentary about me, about the furry murders. Just wait, give it 15 years.
Is
gonna
that
be
why
the
you're
title
doing?
of it.
Is that why you're doing all this exercise so that you can lift bags of body parts and outrun people?
You know how like chimpanzees are like crazy strong. So are furries. I gotta train, man. Gotta get them in that headlock, choke them out.
Yeah, I do not care about anything.
And on that
Monster
note,
Hunter.
Yeah, so Monster Hunter Wilds, man.
Don't go and kill any furries, Evan. They'll just turn you into a martyr. Then they'll spread throughout the world.
It's like the ending of the bad ending of Blasphemous 1. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Are we out? Or are we talking about